Hello, this is Tim Law with Planet Forward Coaching. I have a gentleman I've just had the privilege of meeting recently, Mark Bentzel. Had a long career in wrestling, also in law enforcement. So, Mark, welcome. Tell us how this great sport of wrestling helped you as far as mental toughness, self-discipline, etc.
Well, I've been involved in and around wrestling for more than, probably 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
In a lot of different capacities. Certainly as a wrestler, from a young guy, wrestling in high school, wrestling in college, coached high school, coached youth, and the lessons that I learned, and then fortunately the lessons that we were able to teach as we moved on to the coaching aspect, was the discipline and hard work.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing any athlete who worked hard, maybe not the most skilled in the beginning, but through hard work and dedication, seeing them succeed has always been probably my greatest accomplishment.
Mm-hmm.
My son was one of those types of athletes that needed a lot of hard work, needed a lot of drilling, needed a lot of hold on, I've got a loss for words here.
Yeah, you kind of developing that muscle memory, I'm assuming, that type of thing.
Yeah.
For the sport.
Well, he would have been the kind of kid that the harder he worked, he could see the better he got.
Sure.
And to be quite honest with you, when we started out for him, I would say to him, there are certain things we can control on the mat.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, you can be the best conditioned
Mm-hmm.
wrestler or better conditioned, and you can be the strongest. And in the beginning, the small goals of coming off the mat and saying, how did you feel strength-wise, how did you feel condition-wise? And he would say, good or better than
Mm-hmm.
my opponent. And as we move forward, we continue to spend more and more time on technique and drilling and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a very good example of an athlete who, the harder he worked, the more success he had.
Mm-hmm.
He could see it. And when he saw it and when he believed it is when things started to move forward for him. But the biggest aspect of wrestling that I can take into my working career would have been the discipline side.
Mm-hmm.
The piece of wrestling where we say to ourselves, yes, I'm tired, I'm hungry, but I can continue to move on. And I've been here before, I know what it takes to succeed, and I'm willing to sacrifice and go through maybe that pain and struggle to get where I need to be.
Sure. And how did it, Mark? How did it impact you as far as your law enforcement career?
Well, in law enforcement, there's I always found a lot of parallels between law enforcement and wrestling, in that in law enforcement you work as an individual a lot of times, but you have to know how to work as a team.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the same as wrestling. I got, in the later years of my law enforcement career, I was given the task of vetting people, interviewing them to hire people as prospective police officers, and I always would ask people about their extracurriculars
Mm-hmm.
as they were growing up. And it really didn't matter what sport, but if they were involved in wrestling, I showed particular interest because I knew the character that wrestling built, and I knew how that comported very, very well in the law enforcement. So those types of individuals to me, were just a notch ahead of some of the others.
Sure. Well, I'd be remiss here if we didn't say about our good mutual friend Tom Kessler. Any commentary toward Tom? Because I know he'll be seeing this.
Well, Tom really was one of those guys that displayed all of those characteristics, because when I met him, he was juggling a lot of balls at one time, and he was one of those unique guys that was able to keep all the balls in the air and be successful, I believe, probably in most everything that he did. An excellent example, a good mentor, ends up being a good friend of mine, and went from wrestling to coaching, and I'm certain that he mentored and helped a lot of young men in his college wrestling career.
Yeah, no question about it. Mark, this has been great. Any last second thoughts here?
Well, I just, like I said, I've been involved in and around wrestling for a lot of years, and I just enjoy it. I like what I see, and knowing what it takes to be successful, you can really appreciate that person out on the mat who is just laying it all out on the line, not afraid to swim into the deep waters and give everything they have to succeed.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Mark. And we're actually recording this here at Bucknell University, which is just a great location for the EIWA qualifying tournament for the NCAA. So thank you, sir. Do appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet. Thank you.
Yes, sir.